So I'm showing here something that probably didn't happen in the history of judiciary, and that is what happened in case of President of Higher Instance Court of Smederevo, SLAĐANA BOJKOVIĆ. This is my YouTube channel. So if I type Bojković here, there are 3 videos describing emails I sent to her and some other details. So what happened in the end, and I think it was in middle last year, she in the end filed a crime report against herself. So not a regular judge, but president of higher instance court. Higher instance court means that the court is deciding on it's one level below Court of Appeals, so it is deciding on decision. Yeah, it is deciding on decision. It is in charge of complaints of decisions of a lower instance court or appearing court. So as I described in these videos, I won't describe that again. So she was constantly invoking the law on e-signature, although it can not be applied here. So by here I mean in the case of monstrous murders of my family, or more precisely in inheritance proceedings of my father. So a lot of frauds are committed by judge who was in charge of that proceedings, and also a lot of frauds are committed. These are, I mean, serious crimes such as obstruction of justice, fraud, not reporting a crime, and so on and so on. So judges, panel of judges of higher instance court deciding on my complaint, which is basically not complaint but crime report. They, according to the law on criminal proceedings, those judges should have file that report to prosecution office in charge. This is higher instance of prosecution. But instead they decided that everything was okay, although I provided even a video of phone calls about that, describing that fraud by judge during inheritance proceedings. So they in their decision on my complaint, higher instance court panel of judges wrote that I filed a complaint, but they haven't described what was the complaint about. This is also another case, and I will create a video on this. This is another case which probably, the second case that probably didn't happen in the history of judiciary worldwide. So not just that president of that higher instance court deciding on my complaint about frauds on lower instance court during inheritance proceedings for my father. They also so they completely left out this part which should be mandatory, describing what was my complaint about. And finally, as an epilogue, their president, so again higher instance court, they filed a crime report on against herself. So that was her that was the last thing she can do, because after I moved to country, I went there to office of Higher Instance Court, and I asked the secretary of the President of Higher Instance Court to print all the headings of the emails I sent, because again she was invoking, President of the court was invoking law on his signature. And after I signed it, she didn't have any other choice but to send everything, all the cases related to that, all the cases related to not just frauds committed by judges, but also to related to monstrous murders of my family, because they want to go with the proceedings as if nothing happened, and to practically prove that monster who murdered my family is innocent. They did that in the end. Even the whole thing was finished in Cadastre, which is in charge of changing property, changing ownership of the property, and so on and so on. And even after that, that wasn't enough. They sold, I mean, that monster who inherited third of my property. She sold that to one local criminal, war profiteer, and the problem was that he didn't notify me that he's going to buy it, which is against the law. And now nobody wants to send me that agreement that they signed, that agreement on selling the it's not actually not agreement, but the contract on selling the property. So they are proving that it is illegal. So lawyer who was in charge, who had the power of attorney to sign that agreement or contract, then the notary, which in whose office this agreement was signed, and finally the Cadastre. None of them want to, and of course that monster who murdered my family, none of them want to give me that agreement or contract about selling the property. So in the end they failed on their fraud they committed. So now I'm going to show when I first contacted this President Bojković. So first time I contacted her was on December 10th of December 2019. So almost a year after my father died. So this email shows that I had an exchange with Judge Dejan Adamić, who committed a fraud during the inheritance proceedings. Afterwards, the inheritance proceedings was held in it was the end of February 2020. So I warned him here that he needs to exclude that monster who murdered my family from inheritance proceedings until prosecution dismissed the charges from the crime report I filed against her. And I also contacted some other prosecution offices, like Prosecution Office for Organized Crime, then the Constitutional Court, they never answered, ever. This is for yeah, this is for higher instance court. I think this is the first, yeah, this is the first time I address them. So I just remind them that they need to remind sorry, the Judge Dan Adamovic not to add, actually to exclude that monster who murdered my family, because police, explained that in other videos, police filed, actually forwarded my report on murders of my family to prosecution office in charge, which means that they confirmed that that was a murder, and that happened 24 hours after I reported top of Ministry of Interior to Interpol using Twitter, because Interpol was ignoring me when I sent them emails and when I called them. So there is law on inheritance proceedings, and in that law it says that if there are charges against someone who should inherit, so charges related to someone that person inherits from, that person cannot inherit. It's called unworthy on inheritance, and this is done. This should be checked ex officio, meaning by the definition of the job of the judge. So it was not even my job to do that. So I first warned president of court where that inheritance proceeding took place. He did nothing. He's now pretending nothing happened. So of course this is part for trustee on who provides free access to information of public interest, and so on and so on. This is another email I sent to the judge, always reminding him and giving him the more and more proofs what this monster did. So I was reminding him that he needs to look at those pieces of evidence and exclude monster who murdered my family from inheritance proceedings until she is until charges are dismissed, but that of course never happened. And what I did here, I actually allowed to these proceedings to happen, inheritance proceedings, because this is the easiest. Of course that was a huge risk, but that was the easiest way to prove that unworthy on inheritance can be applied, that I was right about this. And what I did during inheritance proceedings, I asked judge to add my complaint because he said he didn't have time to check my documents. There were like 600 pages. He said he didn't have time. I had this on record. The monster who murdered my family confirmed that, because she thought, and her family, who is close family, who is related to one politician who convinced Slobodan Milošević to surrender to international court in Hague, and that politician is then closely related to American embassy or ambassador during Milošević era. So it goes, of course, indirectly to the to American Embassy. So I will now show that law on I just need to fix my keyboard, sorry. Okay, so I will now show law on inheritance. So this is law on inheritance, and I think it's Article 4, unworthy on inheritance. Let's see what's the translation. Unworthiness to, oh, okay, unworthiness to inherit. Okay, I don't know if there is a proper, more precise translation in legal terminology, law terminology. So it says here that somebody who murdered someone who is I need to check out this, from whom that person inherits, cannot inherit that the property, which is logical. And this is important for another very popular case, international case nowadays, intentionally murdered. Okay, so and some other cases when you force someone to sign a testament, who destroy the testament, or who didn't take care of the one who he or she inherits from. And this is also the second case. So not just that she murdered, that monster murdered my family, my father. This of course goes for through the whole line of inheritance. So this also goes for my grandfather. So both of these two can be applicable, and it's times 2, so it's 4 this is the 4th paragraph is basically against her inheriting the property. So she also didn't take care, although she that was her job. She admits that she was taking care of them. So I have a lot of proofs that she didn't do that. There are even some videos on that where my father's head is injured. So I think that this is in the end. So the crucial part here is the part. So here it is, head injury. This is only one of the example how she was taking care of my father. Also, this also happened with my grandmother and my grandfather. So, and the crucial point here is this: court decides on our worthiness to inherit ex officio, by the definition of its job. So nobody needs to tell them to do so. They are doing this. So this is probably, and the number of this Article 4, I don't know what's this, they change it. I don't know what's this. Well, I cannot figure out what this sign, I don't know, I cannot now remember what's the proper name in the legal terminology. Why is this here? And it says here something that I don't remember, it was there before. So the one, okay, I need to check out this. Testator. Oh, okay. I mean, I never heard of it.
The testator.
The testator. Okay, someone who actually owns the property to be inherited. Okay, so the testator, okay, can forgive unworthiness, and it must be done in the form needed for sort of a testament. I don't know what can be. What's the proper translation? Bequest. Never heard of it.
Bequest.
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 Okay. So this is the whole point, that judge, when it says here the court, it means judge, so judge needs to check if there is any sort of crime report, ongoing criminal proceedings on all the people who are inheriting the property related to testator, right? He didn't do that, and in one of the I think it's 8th of March. Yeah. This is first part when I asked that Monster Smederevo to get the decision on inheritance proceedings, and this is the second part where she read the decision and confirmed that the judge removed my part, which I added during inheritance proceedings. So that part was on murders on my family. So the fact that prosecution office still to this day, I mean, my father died on it was end of December 2018, so today is 4th of July. To this day, none of prosecution officers called that monster to give statement, and they know that very well. I notified them multiple times. She has major psych issues. So this is the first thing that police and prosecution checks on anyone who is involved in who was a possible suspect. The first thing is to check out his health record. Of course, they are trying to hide that fact in every possible way. So this video contains the part, so I was Skyping that monster. She thought, again, I think that I mentioned that she thought, and her family, they thought that if inheritance proceedings is finished, that everything is finished, it's done, nobody can touch her. So she admitted everything, that she actually found my grandfather and so on and so on. And she probably hit him or pushed him. He was there. I don't know if I think I mentioned that. She was 4 hours, probably more than 8 hours there. The walls were painted with blood, even if I mentioned that in this video. I'm mentioning it again because it is really important. So in this video, that monster confirmed the judge said during the inheritance proceedings he didn't have time to check out the documents proving that she is guilty, and by other frauds that are committed afterwards. I actually proved that this unworthiness unworthiness to inherit is actually can actually be applied and should have been applied. So this was not of course the case just with this judge, but also with all the prosecution offices that are involved. So I contacted multiple prosecution offices, prosecution office of appeal or appeals, whatever. So they simply haven't done something that should be done by the definition of their job. So again, this has something to do with one or probably more international cases. This is why I'm creating this video, and of course because of this controversy with the judge, actually president of higher instance court in Smederevo, Serbia, filing crime report against herself. So this is where when I contacted her first time. Actually, I just sent this to the to higher instance court, but she answered, although that was not her job. So that's here actually. So that was okay. For some reason I don't have here. Or maybe these are two emails, I don't know. But let's assume that this was on 10th of December. So 10th of December 2019, this is the first time I contacted her. Maybe I can search for this. For this part. Well, I don't know, this doesn't work. What? I don't see it. Okay, so I'll assume it was 10th of December when she received it. So all the other emails basically come down to the same thing that happened with Judge Adamovic, who was in charge of inheritance proceedings. So I was constantly giving her president of the court. Again, it was not her job, but to act here, but the job of judge who was president of that panel of judges who decided on my complaint. So, and I think that my complaint is given in one of the videos. Yeah, it's here. So this is the complaint. This is the complaint. So it's sent on 20th of March, and it contains, as this video shows, the debt so 8th of March 2020. So it contains that video of Skype call where psych patient and monster murder of my family confirmed that judge committed a fraud. I needed to call her because judge didn't, there was no signature, and the seal on minutes of criminal inheritance proceedings. So based on that minutes, I received all three of us, so me, my brother, me, and that monster. We judge gave us minutes of inheritance proceedings, which was used to write the final decision. So he gave us those minutes without seal and signature, and I needed to call this monster. There is another call on 5th of March where she confirmed she doesn't have sorry, she also doesn't have DA signature and seal on the minutes of the inheritance proceedings. And in this call on 8th of March 2020, she confirmed that judge removed my part on monsters murders of my family from that minutes. So that part was removed in the final decision on inheritance proceedings. So let's go back to this part on judge, on president of the court, higher instance court. So she was constantly invoking that infamous law on his signature, although according to the law this also goes for all the prosecutors and deputy prosecutors involved. They are doing the same thing. They are ignoring most of the they were ignoring most of the my crime reports, and even if they take crime report, they are taking only part of it, which suits them. So she basically was ignoring all the new pieces of evidence that I forwarded to her. And again, this is not just not reporting crime, but also obstruction of justice by a president of higher instance court, also the preventing from proving crime, from collecting evidence, basically. So these are all crimes as defined in the crime law of Serbia. So this is, again, I showed when everything started. So it started in December. She was constantly ignoring me and invoking law, not just one law but multiple laws incorrectly. So pretending that as all the others that she doesn't know how to use G Drive, YouTube and so on, because I can provide evidence in any form I want. So again, from me to this lady, she is secretary. Oops, no. She's secretary of the president. So this was on March, so 7 days after I filed a so everything is here. After I filed complaint on inheritance proceedings decision, and she is invoking here law on e-signature, electronic signature, and she was doing that over and over and over and over again. What's here? Yeah, this is the this is another. Yeah, I forwarded this. I don't know if she is addressed. Yeah, probably addressed a lot of people here, so I forwarded to her, so that's nothing really that important. Yeah, this is when they tried to commit a fraud in cadastre. So this was the end of 2020, October. And then they managed to finally did this in the I think it was 12th of March 2021. More than a year after that, they finally managed to illegally sell the property. That property has 4 parts, but basically that's one property. Again, electronic signature, March 21. This is when everything was already finished. And so on and so on. So I basically covered everything in emails, in videos after 16th of so this is from here, 16th of June 2021. So I just need to check out a few more. Yeah, I checked out this. So I don't know, she's not directly addressed here because this had to do with cadastre. Yeah. And this was again. Good. So this one. Yeah, this is very interesting. So this is Vice President of the Higher Instance Court, guy named Lukic. Let's see his. Oh no. So the attachment is at the end. Here it is. So Vice President of the Court wrote it on 20th of October 2020. Predrag Lukic, judge. It says here deputy of the president, but I don't know. I think the right term is vice president. So he is referring to email I sent on 21st of February, right before inheritance proceedings took place. He also was referring to electronic signature. He never answered. I wrote to him, as can be seen afterwards. So this is for Deputy President of Higher Instance Court. I added everything about the whole case, all the possible evidence, including, of course, international part, because obviously they, as I showed in another video, so Interpol. So I showed in the video. Let's see where it is. In this video, no. Yeah, this one. In this video, I showed that all of them have access to a G drive folder named Interpol, where proofs that Interpol is involved are uploaded. So that part with the Twitter report. So reported ministry, again, top of Ministry of Interior to Interpol for involvement in international organized crime. And again, this is the main folder in the on G drive, and here is that folder Interpol. So I showed here in this video that all state institutions have access to this folder, but of course they are pretending they don't know how to use it, how to use G drive, and how to use the YouTube. Although long criminals proceedings is pretty clear about that. Everything that is sent by email needs to be not just printed. I mean, things that could be printed, obviously. If there is a video, audio, it cannot be printed. And not just printed, but recorded to DVD or CD. And what they are doing, they are saving it to their hard disk. It cannot be saved on hard disk because it needs to be part of the case physically, which means it needs to be on CD, DVD, or maybe even Blu-ray. I don't know, most of them don't have Blu-ray reader or writer, so it needs to be finalized. No one should be able to change it afterwards, and it needs to be the physically part of the case. And I have a proof of that in the folder related to police department of Smederevo. So it is called PUSD. What? Yeah, it is. I think that's the one of the last, something above 20. I mean, picture 20 or 21. Yeah, this is the report. This is the notification by the commissioner of police department in Smederevo 24 hours after I reported them to Interpol using Twitter. They forwarded my crime report to higher instance prosecution, although they calling that submission. It is submission, but it is special case, special kind of submission, which is called crime report. And when crime report is in question, everything is done ex officio, by the definition of its job. So I don't need to explain anything to the initially to the police, actually to prosecution. They are doing everything independently, and if something is not clear, then can ask me, I mean anyone who filed a crime report. They are trying this all the time to either characterize it as the submission, podnesak, or pritužba, which is sort of a complaint. So complaint is something that has to do with some decision. You cannot have, although there is crime complaint in the United States. So they are doing this, obviously, both judges and prosecutors, deputy prosecutors, and so on, to avoid acting ex officio. So this is not what I wanted, because I wanted to show that. And what is also important regarding this, what's this? Yeah. I cannot find it, but this was sent. I received the email containing this attachment in 3 p.m. and something, 3:20 or something like that. So after hours, which is really strange that police is working after hours. So there were some really strange things happening. I'm trying to. For some reason, I don't have this this email with this attachment. Okay, never mind. This is slow. So what I'm trying here is to show that. That everything needs to be recorded. Yeah, so here it is. So this is again commissioner about some wood that is stolen by that monster from my property, and he said here a video record is on compact disc and it is forwarded to the elementary prosecution office. So elementary prosecution office, because they consider it small scale theft. So police did that, and not any police, not any police officer, but the commissioner of police department of Smederevo. He proved by doing this that it should be recorded on DA, CD or DVD or other medium that can be finalized, so that no one can write on it again. Okay, so let's see what's else left. So again, I added a lot of pieces of information here for the vice president. He never answered. And I again added more pieces of evidence, more data, especially on e-signature. And also, what is also important is that if there is a DA audio record, there must be a transcript within the case, and that transcript is of course provided by the prosecution. It's not my job to do that. Even if I file a crime report containing DA audio recording. And another thing that is really important, they cannot, I don't know if I mentioned that before, but they cannot invoke law on e-signature if the crime report is in question, because crime report can be anonymous. This is another thing, very, very important. So they are not just, I gave here several cases when this lower part of the law on e-signature cannot be applied, so they didn't have any basis, any grounds for applying it. And on top of that, so it's not just law on e-signature, it's also law on criminal proceedings, so basis of police and prosecution work, which says that crime report can be anonymous. So there are like four cases where this cannot be applied. 4 arguments for not being able to apply or to invoke that law on e-signature. Okay, this is no cadastre. And as you saw, I wrote multiple times, 2 times to this Vice President Lukic, and he never answered. These are just my other emails, and so on and so on. Everything is in the 2020. Everything is in those G drive folders within final 2 main folder. Everything up to 16th of June 21, when I started to create videos of emails, because that was actually the right thing to do from the beginning, because some things simply cannot be shown in any other form than any other form except in form of a video. You need to click, for instance, I need to click here to prove that this exists. I mean, just an example. Or to prove where this where certain links lead, proving that they are there still, and so on and so on. Okay, I think I covered everything. So basically the same thing with all the state institutions. They are ignoring most of it. if they answer, they are just cherry picking something that works for them. So everything is in those folders. Yeah, everything I showed here is in those folders. So let's see if there is something that I missed. I think this is the last one. I just confirmed that I just confirmed I received this. So 23rd of March 02. I don't know why there are two. No, it's the same document. So again, this is the president of the court, and she also is referring to the another email that I sent. She's also, this is number of inheritance proceedings of my father, 0531/20. She is again invoking this this law on his signature illegally. Everything else is covered except this. So this is an email I sent in August, and I created the answers to president of the court in form of videos. This video, 2 parts, and this video. So the rest is basically the just some state institutions ignoring me. They probably put me in some sort of blacklist. This is just the same email, but I sent I needed to divide it into two mails because there are a lot of recipients, and it will report bulk email. So this is this is the email from August. There is another mail where she again was referring, but this is very interesting. After I created those 2 videos, she's now writing a lot more than she wrote before. So again, president of the court. She's now invoking the wrong law. I don't know why. And again, she's calling the crime report submission. It is submission, but it is special part of the submission. So again, you can file a crime report to not just to police and prosecution, but also to the court, and prosecution, court, which is not in charge of that crime, type of crime, and court need to forward that to the prosecution office in charge of that crime immediately, and of course to archive it, whatever it is properly spelled. So what she wrote there, she included everything that I sent, and again she's calling this podnesek, which means submission. It's not a submission, it's a crime report, and eventually she did that. She filed that crime report as against herself. So she also received some cases. Again, she's calling that submissions. she also received some cases through prosecution office of appeals in Belgrade, so not a court of appeals, but appeal or appeals, but prosecution of appeal. Now she's claiming that they are not clear and she cannot understand them. I mean, so they don't understand what I wrote. I mean, but of course they want to explain which part exactly they don't understand. They never do that. So this is basically what they are constantly doing, and all of them. So again, she's evoking that electronic signature thing. So all these crime reports, all of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it 10 or 11? Never mind. So they are sent to their court through, again, prosecution of appeals in Belgrade. This is the highest instance. There is only one instance above them, which is republic prosecution. No, sorry, these two are forwarded by prosecution of appeals. And again, electronic signature thing. And she's writing in capital letters, asking me to fix this, blah blah blah. And again, she claims for some other emails I sent, I mean crime reports, she doesn't understand what that means. Again, not explaining which part she doesn't understand. Same goes for all the other, from court, whether it be court or whether this is a court or prosecution, never mind. It's the same thing. So, and she gave me 8 days to fix this. And then some, she has some, for some more evidence. I mean, I give all the possible evidence that you can give. And again, she's now referring to my submissions as complaints. So again, these are not complaints, these are crime reports, and they are acting ex officio. They cannot ask me this. No matter if it is judge or prosecutor, deputy prosecutor, they cannot ask me to explain it, because they need to do that initially on their own, independently, to check out everything, that is everything possible. And if they cannot figure it out, then they can ask me with a detailed explanation what is not clear. So that's basically it. That's what they are doing. So this was the end of August 2021. So the end of August 2021, I answered. Yeah, these are. There are some more videos. I answered here and I said she cannot act now because I reported her to international institutions. In this case it was Department of Justice, United States Department of Justice. So these are the videos I sent. This is the video on so she cannot act anymore. Time's up. This is also important. So this is a proof that DOJ received my received my emails. Some more things of that commie monster, so-called politician who is behind this. He is a son, political son of Slobodan Milosevic. Slobodan Milosevic created him and he betrayed Slobodan Milosevic. I'm not saying Slobodan Milosevic is good. He was, I mean, he was bank clerk. He was 20 years in United States, so he could not pass what is that called? Security clearance. So he was illegally president. So again, I reminded her about, give her some more details. I described the videos here, what they are all about. Involvement of Interpol and so on and so on and so on. Ex officio. I don't know if I mentioned here DA not reporting crime, then obstruction of justice. I hope I mentioned it, but I mean she should know that better than I do because she's a judge. So this is September. This is the so this is the most important part. So this is what she did on 30th of June 2022, so something more than a year now. So she sent me this. And it says here, all my submissions, she again failed to characterize them as crime reports, that I sent to their court, her court, because she's the president of the court, Judge SLAĐANA BOJKOVIĆ. So she's now invoking that part that I was constantly referring to. So this is the part of the long criminal long criminal proceedings, and this is, I just want to be sure that, so Article 281 paragraph 3. This is extremely important. So this is paragraph 3. What it says, okay, I will run it through if a criminal complaint, this is wrong, crime report, I just read, I will check out now what's the difference between crime report and crime complaint, because that I think she was a model. She was allegedly first who reported Epstein to I think state prosecutor Arden, or Alisha Arden. Alisha Arden, crime report Jeffrey Epstein. People, wow, People, Daily Mail. Police report. There is I have a screenshot, but not here, where it says in that, I think that this is a maybe it's DA Angels and Demons. I think that it's from there. Angels and Demons. I think that it's here. What? Okay.
The new pope is yet to be selected.
Shut up. What? Oh no. No. Angels and Demons documentary. Is it? Yeah, cool. Right, that's it. So I think that in this trailer or in no, it's not in the trailer. It's in the in this shocking revelations thing. Come on.
In terms of legacy.
Shut up. Okay, so of course they haven't mentioned
the left would let that happen.
Number 9. Epstein kept a woman captive on Wexner's estate.
Epstein's house was just one of hundreds in a community.
yeah, this is about Maria Farmer.
By Les Wexner. And what our reporting indicated was that it was in fact impossible to access Epstein's property without going through Wexner's gate.
But I think that they haven't mentioned that Maria Farmer claimed that Wexner gave the not that, maybe they mentioned that he got all these mansions for $1. They haven't mentioned that all the cameras were actually all the recordings were going to Wexner. They never mentioned that. This is the most important thing. They can't mention that in this documentary. So Wexner is of course behind this. They're trying really hard to cover it up. So I think this is the
of soliciting a prostitute, but faced a little more than a year in prison.
The end result was a lot of nothing.
This guy knows nothing. He's a faker, real faker and piece of shit. So he supposedly wrote I don't know, like book on what happened. The book doesn't have anything to do with what happened. So here it is.
And it would land her in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Instead of booking a gig, Arden filed a sexual...
So, that's it. What it says here. Crime report. Santa Monica Police Department. Alicia Arden.
Battery report. The docu-series includes an audio recording Arden left for her friend after
touching
the
her butt.
$100 back on the table, and then he thought that it was like, why are you...
Arden filed it would land 7. Actress Alicia Arden agreed to a meeting in Epstein's hotel room under the impression it would land her in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Instead of booking a gig, Arden filed a sexual...
97. Actually, Maria Farmer filed a crime report, not crime complaint, to FBI in 1996. Of course, almost nobody's writing about that. Daily Mail picked that up, but nobody else except some local newspaper picked it up. So mainstream media did that in order to suggest that it's not important, but it is extremely important. Again, crime report. So where was I? So if a criminal or crime report has been filed to the police, this is wrong, not with the police, to the police, non-competent public prosecution who is not in charge, or court, or cannot be in charge because it doesn't have anything to do with the prosecution, they will receive the report. Received meaning put it in their archive or archive, whatever, and immediately deliver it to the competent public prosecutor. So she finally did what I was asking her since December 2019. After I signed all those, again I went there to their office, asked her secretary, of course she probably didn't know that it was me, ask her secretary to print all the headings of emails I sent, because what they are doing, I mean, it's not their fault, it's the fault of their so-called IT office. There are some morons there that don't have anything, knows nothing about how computer works and information system works. Those are morons. So in most of the cases they're printing the whole document, all the replies of the email, instead of printing just that one email. And the other thing, they when they're printing it to PDF, they are the most important part, which is the part on the, let me see if I have it here. On the encryption is left off, is omitted. I have this here in, I have video about that. This is also extremely important. So they're basically, when they're printing it, they're doing it in wrong ways. This is the mail. I showed here that when you convert it to PDF, those data are gone. Data on encryption. This is extremely important. And on the other hand, the president of this court and all the other prosecutors, deputy prosecutors, and judges were, I mean, not all of them, most of them were referring to, sorry, some of them were referring to the electronic signature. So this was another thing. And finally I reminded her that she didn't answer to my questions. So this was on July 13th. I wasn't checking the email. So I reminded her that she omitted some so-called submissions, and why she's characterizes crime reports as submissions. I mean, I explained why they're doing this. And again reminded her that her judges in my complaint, answering to my complaint on brutal frauds committed by Judge Adamovic during criminal proceedings. They just stated that I filed a complaint, but they didn't say what was my complaint and what is the probably most outrageous part. As I showed here, my complaint to higher instance court contained that phone video recording of phone call that should have been sent with transcript both to my brother and to that monster, because they were part of inheriting proceedings, but they still haven't received it to this very day, without decision of the Judge Adamovic to omit this part. He cannot omit it without decision, written decision, because he then prevented both my brother and that monster to file a complaint against that. Actually, they should have reported him according to the law on criminal proceedings, but I mean, they don't know the law. At least my brother, that monster, probably would never go against herself, of course. So again, I reminded her that she needs to burn all the material, video material and everything related to the emails I sent to DVD or CD. It must be, and it must be physically part of the case. And again, hard disk is not the carrier of the data, because cannot be physically the part of the case, especially when case is forwarded to other prosecution offices and institutions and so on. And I explained that to, I have a video on that, I will upload it. So I explained that to Republic Prosecution Office, the highest office in the state, and they didn't say anything against that. So, which means that I'm right. So let's see what's this. I gave an example. Yeah, this is the exactly that thing with that I showed with the Commissioner of Police Department of Smederevo. So here is the video recordings on compact discs. Discs are forwarded to Elementary Prosecution Office of Smederevo, and to this day they don't want to give me any of the cases, any of the cases related to this, any of the documents are related to these cases. So this was about stealing my wood from my property. This is done by that monster who murdered my family. So basically this is everything that I also said, and I think that was the last thing that I wrote to her. Yeah, this is well, that was before September. Again, this was in July, this last thing, when she filed a crime report against herself. She's still considering that a submission. And this is another email I forwarded to her. Again, I gave her some more pieces of evidence. in international context, and so on and so on and so on. So basically the rest is something that I already explained. September, this really doesn't have anything to, well, actually these are emails that doesn't have, they're not really related to her, but I mean I can go through all of them. Let's see where it ends. This is the May. I also wrote to her again on May. And to some other prosecutors. I will create a separate video on this because it's huge. So they confirmed they received it. And that's basically it. So something that probably didn't happen in the history of the judiciary, so that president of the court filed a crime report against herself. One more time, this is the crime report. It's not DA submission, so crime report she filed against herself to higher instance prosecution of Smederevo, probably. She omitted that, but it's in the same, probably in the same city. So I can now finish this thing up, and I'm glad that I added that international part related to Jeffrey Epstein, not Epstein, but Epstein, like Einstein, not Eastin, but Einstein. So I'm particularly glad that I added that part. So that will be everything related to judge, president of the court, higher instance court is Smederevo, Serbia, SLAĐANA BOJKOVIĆ.